Hello everybody and welcome. In this video we're gonna show how to start writing the code in the Jupyter notebook. So after the last session we know that we can easily open the Anaconda navigator. Once if we open the Anaconda navigator you can see this screen. Once after you open the Anaconda navigator and you click the Jupyter notebook launch, then the Jupyter notebook gonna open for you in the browser window. So say this is the browser window, and first time once if you see the Jupyter notebook, then you can see this screen. This is called the beige screen of the Jupyter notebook. So from here we can easily open a new file or new notebook page where we can start writing our code. Suppose in this situation I suggest you guys to use your own folder or whatever the location it's gonna be, either in the desktop or in any directory. Then keep all the file in a single directory, so that in future next time whenever you come back you can use this file. Just for the illustration purpose, I mean for just to demonstration purpose, I can show that once after you see this screen, say in the desktop there is a folder. So in the desktop there is a folder called test. So if you click in the test, you can see, if you see in this screen of Jupyter notebook and you once click the new Python 3, the new tab gonna open for you in here, which means that this file been located in the test folder of the desktop. Okay, so you can see that baseline was a desktop, and then in that Jupyter notebook the new file been located. Once after you create that file, you can say rename the file. So say you want to keep the file as test code. Okay, so test code, rename the file. Now let us see, is it really happened over there. So once if we minimize this screen, see this is the test. Inside the test, see this is the test code. So this is how we can manage all the new files, so that even if this file, this one is closed, if you leave this one and then whenever you open the Jupyter notebook, say next time you came back and then this was the screen, so what you have to do is you have to go back to the desktop and then click your test folder, which was actually on down there, here. So the test folder, and this is the test code of IPython notebook. So this is open for you. However, to session today we're not gonna use that one, but I will use another folder which I have already started writing some of the code. You guys maybe remember that this will be a series of lecture, I mean series of class or session, whatever you can say. In this session I will explain the Python introductory level, so it's not gonna be very hard coded things, so but I will explain from very fundamental level, so that everybody can get into it and get involved in it. This course is basically not for the heavy coded high people, but for the starting level, say the people who are already in the finishing the high school level, or those who are in the first year of the uni, and also not only for the IT professional but also for the professional from various level. So so I will go through from just the beginning. So once if you see hit the Jupyter notebook from the Anaconda app, you will see this screen, and then I have some file which been located in one of the folder of my desktop. The folder name is Python. So let us see the Python here. So this is the folder, and this is the folder, and then secondly introductory Python series. So this is basically the session 1, because the last session was just the installation session. So in this session we're gonna start really writing the code. So it's gonna be our initial ABC of coding into the Python. So this is the screen you will see in the Jupyter notebook. In this situation, I will explain a little bit about the interface of this screen. Once if you see this screen, you can easily click here to add any new block of code. So in Python, you can easily block a new core block, and then once if you click here, you can remove any block. So if you want to remove this one, you have to click this scissors, and there are some keyboard shortcut. Once if you click the keyboard in here, then you will get the keyboard shortcut of this screen. Anyway, we will go through them slowly. Just we have to cover all the basic things in here. Suppose if you in here and then you want to add a new cell, so you can even add the new cell on the above cell type. You can mention the type of the cell. So also if you click here, or if you click in there, you can add a new cell on the top. Okay, so say this one is one of the cell in here. Initially the cell gonna be a code cell, but we can easily change the type of the cell as a writing cell, something like that, markdown cell. So if something is written in the code cell, we can run that code and get the output immediately. But if the cell is written as a markdown, then we can write down any kind of string in there. So once if we have a cell in here, then we can change the type of the cell using this this button in here. So say this is the markdown. So if it is a markdown, we can write down anything. If you say single quote, then you can write down anything in here, pyth1 Python. So we write down in Python. So once if you run this code, it will be getting the Python written in there, which means that just you can so in future, once if you come back, you can do any kind of writing, so that you understand what is that's happening in there. So this is a Python class, and then first topic was our print statement. I mean, how to print something. The thing is, the good thing to work with the Jupyter notebook is the command. Each of the command, it is a command where run in the cell, and immediately you can see the result in each cell. So if you write a command in any cell, and you can try to run the cell, you can get the output immediately just below there. Say in this line it is written print hi Python. So once if you run this code, we want to run the we can run any cell by clicking in here, say run. So it is written, and then the output is coming in the below there, say hi Python in below there. So every cell, the output of every cell in Python is gonna be the affected in the below in all other cells. So something like, if you have declared variables in the top of a top cell in somewhere, until and unless you change the value of that variable, it gonna be get the affectation down or below on some of the cells. So I am hoping that those who are watching this video having very little experience about programming language or programming with Python. That's why I will go very fundamental or basic stuff of the Python in this video. And then once after finishing this session, I will upload this notebook file, and also there will be a presentation file which you guys will find in my GitHub link. GitHub link is there in the below of the comment section. So once if you click the GitHub link and get in the comment section, you guys will open you'll be able to upload, download this notebook file. So once if you get this notebook file in your own computer, then you can easily play with it and get more practice on this notebook file. So let's go further. To write down something in Python, you can write down like open you can easily open a cell, something like that, this one. So in the below there is a print statement. To printing something, you can write down print, and then for first bracket, and then inside of there you can write down anything. But in this case you can see that there are only single quotes. So if you like inside the print, and then at this moment it is written something in there, and then I want to write then. So inside the single quote, whatever is written in there, it will be get in the output. Say let's try again. Print first bracket and then single quote. If you write down something like anything, it will be output for you. So to run any cell, sometimes I can click in the run button, or I can do like control enter. Most of the time I do shortcut, keyboard shortcut, control enter. So print inside there something and then control enter, and then you can see the output in it. However, it can be also been happen like using the double quotes, like print something double quote, then it is in there, so control enter, you can see the output in here. Similarly, say print something inside the quote in there, you will see the output in there. So anything whatever the inside the print, it will be written in there, it will be getting the output in there. But one thing you have to remember, that if you need to print something apostrophes like that's pen, then you have to do it double quote, otherwise it will be given you an error. I will show you very soon. So if you run this code, the output gonna be that's pen. You can see the inside that's pen, there is apostrophe s as well. So if you say want to give single quote in there and want to put it like that way, and then control enter, if you want to try to run that code, it will give you an error. And this is the way the error message gonna show in the Python. One thing I have to mention, that if you write down anything using this symbol and then inside you want to write down something, it gonna be outside of the running command. So the system gonna think that this is some sort of comments. That means you, to understand what is that code, you can write down this way. So if you even write control enter, if you run that code, these two lines not gonna be run. So you have to remember that if something is if there's this kind of symbol in there, then actually you have to have the double quote in there, something like that. So we have to do a double quote, and then if there is a double quote in this kind of situation and you run the code, it's not gonna give you any kind of error in future. So when you work with Python, you can consider that each shell of coding shell can be used as a calculator as well. So at the same time, we can see that how Python consider each of the symbol. See in the first cell in here. So in this topic, this is a topic like Python as a calculator. So in this cell in here, if you write down say 1 plus 3, the output gonna be 4, but should be 4. So if you run the code, control enter, you can see the output is 4. And then Python shell, you can write down the minus sign like this way. So 3 minus 2 should be 1. So control enter, this is the 1. And Python gonna consider 5 into 6, something like this way. And if you run this code, control enter, and you can see that 30 should be 30. And then divided by it, so 2 divided by 4, that mean the result should be 0.5. So let's see 0.5, see like this way. So if 5 divided by 2, the output or result should be like 2.5, something like that, isn't it? Yeah, 2.5. So and also we have to remember that, so this is the basic arithmetic operation we can do in the Python. And say 2 to something to the power, something like, if you want to write down something like 2 to the power 4, you can have to double into in here, and 2 to the power 4 means 16. So so if you run the code, the output gonna be like this way. But if you divide one number into by the another number, the remainder value, if you want to get the remainder value only, you have to do the percentage sign, something like 5 percentage 2. That means if you divided 5 by 2, the remainder gonna be the output of this symbol from this operation. So before run the code, it should be like 2 to the power 5 divided by 2, that means 2, that means 4, the remainder should be 1, so the output should be 1. See, something like that. In this situation, if you that mean if you divide one number with another number, so if it is a normal divide, so like this way, in this shell, it will give you the output or the result. But if you want to get the remainder, something like what is the not the fraction, so in this situation in here, if 4 divided by 2, then the remainder gonna be 0, because both of them are the even number, something like that. So if you run this code, the remainder is 0. Now in some of the shell I put some scope so that you guys can do some practice. Also in the uploaded file you will see something like this. So if you want to try this, so 9 to the power 9 into 9, what should be the output of this one? So let us try this one. What should be the output of that 9 into 9? So if you run the code, should be 81. Control enter, yeah, 81. But in this situation, the line below in here, if you say what should be the output of this one, so from this line, let's Control C, and in here let's one more cell, Control V, and if you run the code, it should be 10, because it will calculate this part first, which is gonna be, let's say, 4, and it gonna calculate this part also first, which gonna be like 2.5. so 2.5 into 4, again that gonna be 10, something like that. So the in most of the cases, the arithmetic operation in Python gonna consider as a basic arithmetic way. So there is will be nothing under, which we have written, which we will learn in the high school or primary school. So in that way, the symbol and the all the symbol gonna works. So it is very easy to understand how the Python gonna calculate or consider the symbol and the basic arithmetic operation. So in this moment we're gonna talk about the variable. The question is, what is variable? If you want to do any sort of programming language, or you want to learn any sort of programming language, and you want to go further on that, you have to know what is the variable. I will request everybody to Google regarding to variable and have some more depth knowledge about the variable. And in short, variable is a space in the memory which you can allocate some space to put any value. It can be any number or any string or whatever. So that means if you allocate a space in the memory, then you can put any number or any value or any string into that space. Just as an example, if you want to say there is a variable var1 and you want to put value 2 into that variable or that space, that means into the computer memory it will allocate a space for you. The name of the space is var1. So let's run this line. So that means if you in future or anytime in future, if you call that space say var1, then it will return you that value, because inside of that var1 you put a space, you put a value called called 2, or you can put anything. So in short, a variable is to allocate a space where you can put any value. So in this case, within this line, we say that there is allocate a space for me into computer memory and put 2 into there. Now in future, if you call that space, if you call that value, say var1, so if you run this code, it will return you 2, because you put 2 into that space. Say run this line, it will give you 2 value. So again, if say you want to put something else, say if you want to put 200 in that space, and if you run that code and if you want to call that space, it will return you that value, which means this 200 in here. Similarly, in this line, in these first two lines, you allocate 2 space in the computer memory. One is x, another one space is y, and into x you put 3 and into y you put 6. Now if you say want to add up sum of those two values, say, and put it into another value into another space which is called z, then by these three lines you can say that put a space into the memory where you can put another two values, say, 3 plus 6, which is gonna be 9. So if you run this code, then what will happen is, into the computer memory the computer will put three allocated space. One space is called x, another one is called y, and then you add or sum up these two space and put them into another place called z. So if you at this moment if you call that z, then you will get 9, which means you call that space. Now we can do this, we can call this by using the print statement. So if you run print, and if something is a value or variable, you can't put colon or double quote or single quote or double quote, because it is a variable. If you try to do something like double quote or single quote, then it's not gonna be as a variable, it will be a string. So you have to know some more idea about string and variable. If you google it, you will find a lot of information into google, and you should have some concept regarding to this issue. So if you say print z, it will give you same result. Okay, so let's run this line, it will give you a same result. But in this situation, obviously by now you guys may know that it will return you just z. Print z, it will give you just z, because in this situation it is just a string, but in this situation it is a value. It will return a value because in that memory space the computer put summation of the two values, say x and y. Now in here we put something to practice. So say there is a question, say there is a variable named var2 and you want to store 9.5 in that space and you want to print it. How to do that? Say the question is var2, you want to put 9.5 into there, and then store. So by this line you can do that. 9.5 you want to put into a space called var2, and then you want to print it. So say run this code, then into that variable it put that 9.5 value. Now if you want to print that one, because var2 is a variable, what you can do is pri and print var2, var2. So if you execute this line, then it will give you 9.5 because you want to call and print that value. So it will give you 9.5, something like that. And store 6 and 3 in a variable and see how to print a minus b and what will be the output. So try to do this one by yourself. Okay, and then now at this moment, say another variable, say a or b or c, whatever, you can put even any string or any string into a variable. Say in this situation a is a variable and you want to put hello. So if you execute this code, into a it put a value called hello. So if you print a, it will give you this string, because this one you put into a variable. So if you want to print any variable which contains any value, it will return you the value. So in this situation it will give you that that hello, that word. Okay, something like that. Now say similarly you declare two variable, one is num, another one is name one. That means in the computer, if you run this code into the computer memory, it allocate two space for you. One is num, another one is name one, and it put these two value. Okay, so do it, store your name in a variable and print it. So how can we do that? Say we want to call a variable name, say name 111 or whatever. Now you can do it, can be any name, and put your name. So how do you want to put your name? Say this is the name. Now you want to so once if you run this code, and that means into that variable it put that name. Now if you want to call that variable, it will definitely print that name what's been stored in that variable. So say you want to print name 111, so control enter. So it gives you the same things which is stored in that variable. But on the other hand, you can do the same kind of things using this statement, like print that variable name. This is also you give you the same result. Name 111, say control enter. Okay, something like that. Now we will talk about something called list. List is also some sort of variable or some space allocation into the memory, but it will be a sequential space where suppose if you want to, and the declaration of list is something like bracket, third bracket. So say m list inside the you called it as a variable called m list, and you call it as a list. So inside that you want to put three things. One is this one, that one is that one, and then that one. So into the Python, 0 number 1 gonna be the first one, after the number 1, after the number 2. So this is how you call, this is how you put any value into the list. So by running this line, you put all these value into that list, and if you want to call 0 number element from there, it will give you this output, I mean the first one. Okay, so if you run this second line, this line, it gives you that one. Similarly, you can put a combination of string and number, and if you call any number, it will give you return you that corresponding value. Suppose in this situation, if you call 0 1 2 3, then it will by once if you execute this line, and it gives or take all this value into the list called m list. Now if m list you call number 3, it will definitely give you the 55. Okay, so let's run this one, and it will give you the 55. Okay, similar way we can call the Boolean is also a type of variable one, which will give you the true or false. In various situations we have to use Boolean. We have to use Boolean variable, which also use as an alternate as a logical operation. So once computer see any logical things, then in that kind of situation it will give you a true or false. Suppose if suppose 1 greater than 2, in this situation reality is 1 is not greater than 2, so it should be like false. So computer should give me the false, something like that. So that means this kind of logical operation, it will return you the output of as true or false. Suppose 3 less than 1, no, it is not true. So in this situation also it gonna give you the false, something like that. Okay, similarly in this line in here, you can see that I declare two variable, one is called x, another one is y, and put x into x, 4 into x and 5 into y. If you say print x greater than y, is it true? No, no. So it should be also give the result something like false, because this is false. But at the same time, if say you don't want to do the print, it should give in you the same kind of thing, same result, so false. Okay, so here is a something to practice for you now. Store two number in variables and then print either true or false. So try this one by yourself and you will get some more clarification and better understanding. And this topic is called the conditional statement. So frequently we use conditional statement whenever we're gonna go through to do the big program. Then we frequently use if and if then else statement. This is just a comparison some sort of condition. Suppose in Python we say if else, and then there are say if 3 less than 4, no it is not right, then print something. So if you so 3 less than 4, it is true, so it gonna print this line. Suppose so in here there is only one condition. If there is two conditions, second condition gonna be if, and then first condition gonna be if, and second condition gonna be else. So in this line, if 1 less than 2, print something, else print something. So so the computer gonna check the first condition first. If 1 less than 2, it is true, and then it gonna print something, else print different. So it not gonna check the else statement, because once if it get if is true, then it not gonna be else, it not gonna be execute else. So it in this situation it gonna only print this line until this line. So one thing we have to remember that alignment. So if say if so if and else should be in the same line, so I mean in the same column. Otherwise it's gonna give you a error. Say it, see, I just move a little bit of right and it being red, and if you want to run this code, it's gonna gives you the error message. That's why it should be, alignment should be the same line, or to execute a if and else statement. Suppose if so let's try something else. Say if 3 less than 2 print something, that means that is not true, so it's not gonna be happen. So then in that situation it's gonna come from if to next statement, that means else statement. So in this situation the different this word gonna be should be printed, because at first computer go from the top to bottom. Top command is if, and it checked something and it was false, so it didn't go there, it go to the next conditions which is called else. So if there are two condition only, we can use if and else, but if more than two, then first one is if, last one gonna be else, but in the middle it's gonna be elif, elif, elif. Okay, so in this situation, if see there are three conditions, first condition, second condition, third condition. Normally third condition gonna be else, and every cases the alignment should be the same column. So if any alignment is little bit of right or left, it's gonna be you will understand that it is red, so it's gonna give you the error message, something like that. Okay, similarly in this line, in this block of command, what we have done is we put some value into a variable. The name of the variable should be something, anything, and then we check some conditions. If there is a condition and if that condition is true, I said to print something. If another condition gonna true, I said to do something else, otherwise I said to do something else. So in short, if you want to execute if and else statement, you have to remember that alignment should be same, and computer gonna go from top to step by step, top to bottom. If there are only one condition, you can use the if two condition, if else. If three condition, first one should be if, last one should be else, and in the middle it should be elif. And also remember that if more than 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you can use thousands of conditions, all of them gonna be elif, elif. And remember that in each situation there should be semicolon, something like that, otherwise it gonna gives you some error message. So guys, until now this is the first session of the very initial and basic of Python. I hope you guys will be a little bit of benefited from this lecture and this session. So you guys will be able to get this file into my GitHub link. So upload that one and try by yourself. And if you have any questions or any confusions, then please try to do in the comment section. And if you guys like this kind of session, please subscribe my channel, and I will come back again in future with session 2, and I hope within the next 6 to 7 session I can finish very basic of the Python. So after finishing all of them session, you will be at least able to understand and